Y'all had that 3-game skid where, things just weren't going well. I'm a fan of the team, fan of the defense. And I just saw, it was a tough game against Joe. Joe just had answers for, and that's why he gets paid the big bucks. That's why they talk about him the way they do, because sometimes he get hot and all you do is put your hands up and hope you weather the storm. But ever since Steve Wilks has come out of the booth and come to the sideline, this defense has been, number one in the league, scoring, yards, more sacks, more turnovers. Talk about how much different that's been to see that. Obviously, you weren't there for some of the earlier games, but you were on the field, but you weren't playing necessarily. But tell me how that's been different for this unit.
Man, I remember when Coach Wilks first came down on the sideline, man, and I told him, I said, Coach, I'm glad you're down here. His presence on the sideline, he's such a great motivator. He's such a great mentor, to all the guys, all the position groups. And he never let us forget, our DNA as a defense. When you constantly got that familiar face right there on the sideline who's constantly talking and constantly, giving his feedback on the game and what's going on, it helps the players, It helps us go out there and play with so much confidence, and it helps us not only go out there and play with confidence, but remember who we are as a defense, which is we one of the most toughest defense in the league as far as, physicality, running to the ball, effort, we pride ourselves in all of that, man. And he has been, a great help on helping us realize that, we win our games when we're playing like that. So his presence on the sideline has been a tremendous help for us, man.
No question. This defense, regardless of who been coordinated, has been prideful and great at the things that take no talent, the effort and the attitude and assignment. Those are things that take, I'm sure DB has repeated to you constantly, the things that take no talent. Like you run to the ball, you hit everything moving. Until it's not moving no more, we hitting it. I know.
Yes, sir.
But what had to be an adjustment for you, and I know because Kyle is just an adjustment for everybody. How was it dealing with him in the team meetings when he's sitting there giving you a dissertation on outside zone and how this play worked and how that play worked? Everyone loves making sports predictions, but there's a new app that's putting a whole new spin on the game. Check out Vaulted, spelled VLTED. Vaulted is an app where you can track your sports predictions and participate in daily cash prize pools. You can also show off your sports knowledge by dropping your boldest takes or challenging your friends to see who makes the best picks. You can even challenge me in my Richard Sherman NFL pool and take home some serious cash. All you have to do is answer the question and risk confidence points on each prediction for a chance to walk away with some big bucks. So download the Vaulted app. Again, that's spelled VLTED. The QR code is right on the screen. Prove you're smarter than your friends and get the Vaulted app today. Has there ever been a time you've been injured in an accident and not only were you in physical pain, but there were stress, headaches, and problems that followed? Do you wish you had hired an attorney? If you're ever injured, you can check out Morgan & Morgan. Playing corner in the NFL is hard. Submitting an injury claim with Morgan & Morgan is easy. Morgan & Morgan is America's largest injury law firm with over 100 offices nationwide and more than 800 lawyers. With over $15 billion recovered for over 300,000 clients, Morgan & Morgan has a proven track record of fighting to get you full and fair compensation. Morgan & Morgan has been fighting for the people for over 35 years. Submitting an injury claim with Morgan & Morgan is so easy. If you're ever injured, you can check out Morgan & Morgan. Their fee is free unless you win. For more information, go to forthepeople.com/Sherman or dial #law. That's #529 from your cell phone. That's forthepeople.com/Sherman or #law. That's #529 from your cell phone. This is a paid advertisement.
Man, he is a sharp mind, man. Man, I was so amazed by how well he can break down not only just the offensive side of the ball, but the defensive side of the ball. Man, he's one of the sharpest minds I've ever been around, man. And I when I'm in the meetings, I'm sitting up and I'm watching, I'm like, man, like, how does he understand, the defense just as well as he understands the offense? That just shows you what kind of time he puts in the game, man. film study he does, man. He watched the littlest things on film, stuff that, a lot of people may not see on film, but Kyle's seen it, and Kyle's seen everything on film. If you know Kyle, you know. Mm-hmm. So just that's one thing, I definitely had to adjust to, just having a head coach, who sees both sides of the ball like that.
No question. And, and Trent, well, you're young, so maybe he gave you a little break and didn't bother you like that. But he always got a little something for you in training camp. He always got a little something like, hey, I saw this on tape. You better be careful.
Yeah. He always sneaked in there. Yeah, he always sneaked in there. He always does. He just acted that last game.
Right, bro. He got his finger on the pulse of everything.
Yeah, yes, he do.
It definitely has to give you confidence, just knowing how prepared he is, knowing how brilliant of a mind is. And then we talked about all the weapons on defense. We ain't even started to talk about that offense and Brock Purdy and Debo and BA and Trent and CMC. Talk about this offense and how it feels to know, hey, we get stops and we do what we're supposed to do. We know they're going to do what they're supposed to.
Man, I went against these guys every day in training camp. I went against these guys every day when I was on a scout D card, and these are the best guys at their positions. I'm playing against the best guys. So when I'm competing against George Kittle in practice and one-on-ones, and I got to guard Ayuk and I got to guard Debo, I see the kind of work that they put in throughout the week, every day. And Brock, amazing guy, hell of a football player. These guys, are so tied in together, it's going to be so hard to stop them because there's so many of them, man. And they're just a great, well-engined, offense.
When you first came into the locker room, you look, don't try to be all high and mighty with me. How, not starstruck, but how kind of taken aback? Because everybody's super cool in that locker room. But when you're coming in as a rookie and you got all these superstars in here, what was that experience like?
Oh, my God, man. I think when I seen Nick the first time.
Freaking machine.
I said, sheesh, boy, you look at the legs on that boy, man. That boy got some calves, man. He looked crazy, man.
Looked like he built in a lab.
Man, he built in a lab for real. Then you see Fred, Fred standing next to Kittle, man, and I'm just like, man, these some dudes in here, man. How can I fit in? How can I, be a part of that elite group? Trent Williams, man. I had a rep against Trent Williams before, and the vet move he pulled on me, I'm just like, man, this is crazy. So I definitely, was starstruck. I'll write them all down too. I definitely was starstruck by how, how many players we got that's the future Hall of Famers on the team, and how not only how good they are as players, but how great of people they are off the field. They're, like you said, they're some of the coolest dudes, to hang around. So it was definitely a good experience.
And that's what I mean by, I know it's frustrating being like, man, I wish I would have went higher. But I guarantee, your career being affected by these dudes, they all gonna come and be here and you learn from them. You will tell stories when you are all pro and Hall of Famer and doing your thing about how much you learned from being around these guys and listening to them and watching them work and working with them and communicating and learning how to communicate with each other, how to play for each other, how to respect one another, how to study the game. It's going to be fun. And Fred already seemed like he got a ton of respect for you. Everybody I talked to got a ton of respect for you in that locker room, at least the old dudes that I deal with. But Fred called you the young vet. What does it mean to hear that coming from a dude like that?
Man, it means everything, man, because that's one of the guys, as a leader of our defense, that's one of the guys I set out to, impress, just to show him, that I belong here, in this field with you. And I got your back just as much as you got my back. That was one of the things, I set out to do early, it was to earn the respect of Fred Warner and also, a lot of the other guys on the defense. But, that means a lot to me, man, coming from Fred, a guy who's been in the league, who's a great leader, man, by the way. The best leader I've been around, and I pride myself on leadership as well. But he's the best leader I've been around, so it means a lot coming from Fred, man.